everybody knows that all the people don't have liberties, all the people don't have freedom, all the people don't have justice, and all the people don't have power, so that means none of us do.
Jello Biafra for the Independent Media Center in the camcorder, Treat Jihad.
The only thing that's going to stop this is a militant demonstration against the city of San Francisco.
Hey, hey!
The movement is intending to fill the streets and reclaim the streets and reclaim the spaces that have been absolutely hijacked.
I think there's a lot of people here for how freezing cold it is out here. I'm really excited. I did not think there was going to be this many people. I'm just totally pumped.
The San Pedro River is significant because it's the major riparian corridor of the Sky Island region. The Sky Islands are various mountain ranges at the north end of the Sierra Madres, just kind of edging into Arizona and New Mexico. It's a really biologically diverse area, and these places are called Sky Islands because they're mountains that rise up out of big flat plains, and in one of these broad flat plains is the San Pedro River Valley. So the San Pedro River is significant in the area because it's the riparian corridor for all the wildlife going between the mountain ranges, but it's significant in a broader sense because it's the last undammed free-flowing river in the Southwest. It's also a perennial river, and we've dried up most of the other rivers in Arizona through groundwater pumping and water diversion. And so the San Pedro River is one that's just still sort of barely hanging on. And it's the second most diverse area outside of Costa Rica in North America for mammals and for birds. Black bears, quadrimundi, rodent species, fox, coyote, historically jaguar, ocelot. Because of the ecological significance, the San Pedro River was designated the country's first national riparian conservation area, and the BLM was charged with managing it. This is one of the areas where the federal lands actually go all the way to the border. In other places, our federal lands, the first 60 feet north of the border, are owned by the Department of Homeland Security and controlled by that. In this case, the BLM still owns the land right up to the border. So when the Department of Homeland Security decided that it wanted to build a wall along the boundary of the San Pedro Riparian National Conservation Area and Mexico, it needed the BLM's permission. It appears the Department of Homeland Security told BLM, you have, this very short window with which to approve this project that we plan to do anyway. And so the NEPA compliance in this case was really just hypothetical. They weren't looking for an analysis that said they couldn't do it. They were looking for a rubber stamp. So the BLM did that in August 2007 and came out with a decision that they would go ahead and allow DHS to build the wall. Under the NEPA, usually there's a public comment period. In this case, there was no public comment period, but there was an appeals period after the decision was finalized. So starting in September, there's a 30-day appeal period, and conservation groups wrote an appeal to tell the Department of Homeland Security and the BLM that they didn't consider all of the impacts, including all of the impacts to wildlife, all of the impacts to the hydrologic systems of the river, impacts to soil, impacts to aesthetics, impacts to recreation. So Defenders of Wildlife and Sierra Club sought a temporary restraining order to halt the construction until the appeal went through the appeals court and was decided upon. So they sought and received a temporary restraining order, and the judge in that case said that in fact construction should wait until the full process was carried through. The Department of Homeland Security didn't like that, and instead of waiting for the appeal to be decided upon, they invoked the waivers that are provided for under Section 102 of the Real ID Act and waived all of the laws that halt the expeditious construction of our border fence. They're actively building the wall, and as of last week, they were within a quarter mile of the river itself. Michael Chertoff is a political appointee. He's not an elected official. And his power now trumps all of the laws created by the legislative branch of our government, all of the laws that we've all been adhering to: Endangered Species Act, Clean Water Act, National Environmental Policy Act, National Historic Preservation Act. The list goes on. The fact that one man now can sign away all of those important mandates to protect our environment and our national heritage is really sort of frightening. The Bush administration has been waiving all kinds of laws for itself all along. This type of concentrated power in the executive branch is really nothing new. It's just frightening when we see it applied over and over again. I think the most important thing people can do is try and get the Borderlands Conservation and Security Act passed. That's a really strong bill that addresses the systematic destruction of our borderlands because of this policy. I think that that's really what we need to start rallying around if we're looking for a legislative solution. The other thing we can start doing is really pushing for immigration reform. In this election cycle, nobody's going to touch immigration reform. It's too controversial, but we shouldn't let them get away with that. We shouldn't let them play politics with human lives, ecological health, and the integrity of our border southwest. It's not just one section of wall. It's the overall divisiveness that's being imposed on us by a system that emphasizes fear.
In our opinion, the whole thing's a public relations game because it doesn't work.
We say that the only thing the wall won't stop are people, because the wildlife, migrations, river channels, riparian areas, all of these things will be interrupted. The flow, cross-border flow of all of these natural systems will be disturbed, but people will go over, around, under the wall.
We've been very interested to see how this affects the flow of migrants. It doesn't seem to. There's popular staging places that are now directly opposite the wall, and it's clear people are taking off in the night and being hoisted over the wall. So I don't think it has deterred the immigrants at all. As I say, I see them getting picked up very close to the heart of Naco, which now has a 10-mile wall on either side. So they're still going over in the urban zones.
It's a shame that they're using this short-sighted approach to deal with an immigration issue that the roots of which are trade policies and economic imbalances between the two countries and between the United States and the rest of the world. Destroying the San Pedro riparian area for a symbolic gesture to address the immigration issues is really a shame. It's a precious, precious natural national treasure, and they don't seem to get that this is really not a solution.
I don't want the wall. 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 Take down the wall. Take down the wall. I say take down the wall. Take down the wall. Take down the wall. Take down the wall. I say take down the wall. Take down the wall. Take down the wall. Take down the wall. I say take down the wall. Take down the wall.
There's a negotiator, police with not wearing the riot gear. He's wearing like a hat with a little badge on it, and then the rest are all riot gear. And the cops on the side don't have riot gear on anymore, or don't have their face masks on anymore?
This governor is a co-conspirator in the direct displacement of indigenous communities in his country which come to migrate here. He's a co-conspirator with the U.S. political economy. He's a co-conspirator with U.S. corporate interests in devaluing the indigenous communities of his state. We believe that this man should be tried for crimes against humanity, for crimes against people in his country, and for the crime of murdering Bradley Rowland Will, also known as Brad Will, the New York independent media photographer who was murdered in Oaxaca on October 27th of 2006. We have a murderer amidst us. Right here down the street, it looks like the Mexican counselor at this restaurant down here is having a meeting. We have not been able to identify Ulises Ruiz as being present in the restaurant, but it looks like several of the other delegates are present. I'm sure they're a little scared because they know that we are aware of the Oaxacan People's Popular Assembly. We're aware that that struggle continues. We're aware that this man is a criminal and that something must be done about this. So we just wanted to shout that out. We got some people over there. If people want to go down there and make some noise, harass, that's perfectly fine.
You're gonna die!
¡Eres cabrón! ¡No seas cobarde! ¡Sal como hombre, cabrón!
¡Ya cayó! ¡Ya cayó! ¡Ulises ya cayó! ¡Ya cayó! ¡Ya cayó! ¡Ulises ya cayó! ¡Ya cayó! ¡Ya cayó! ¡Ulises ya cayó!
¡Ulises, hijo de puta! ¡Ulises asesino! ¡Asesino! ¡Killer! ¡Motherfucker! ¡Oaxaca somos todos! ¡Hijo de puta, Ulises, cabrón! Here, take a picture of that. Let him out! ¡Unidos! ¡Jamás será vencido! ¡El pueblo! ¡Unidos! ¡Jamás será vencido!
We swarmed the restaurant and blockaded all the entrances so that they are trapped inside. And as far as we know, they have no way of getting out right now, and they're supposed to have a press conference that starts right now. So we've successfully deterred them from doing that, and also I think sent a pretty loud, strong message that we're not going to put up with Ruiz, the illegitimate governor of Oaxaca. Yeah, he needs out. He needs to go.
No tengas miedo, ¡Asesino! 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 Assume the position now. ¡Corran, asesinos de mierda! ¡Lárguense! ¡Corran con toda la protección de la policía, asesinos! Estamos en solidaridad con el pueblo de Oaxaca, con los indígenas de Oaxaca que han sido reprimidos, encarcelados y desaparecidos por este gobernador que ahora viene a hacer demagogia aquí, que él se preocupa de los derechos de los inmigrantes. Es una mentira, es una falsedad. Él es un asesino de un periodista de aquí, de la ciudad de Nueva York, y nosotros queremos que se vaya fuera de Nueva York. Ruiz, a su vez, ha hecho emigrar a más de 2 millones de oaxaqueños hacia los Estados Unidos y que viven en la zona de California. Entonces él no tiene autoridad, no tiene moral para venir aquí a hablar sobre los derechos de los inmigrantes, y por eso que esta protesta es justa, es legítima. Así que hay que sacarlo de Nueva York como sea. ¡Ulises ya cayó! ¡Ya cayó!
ya cayó, ya cayó, ya cayó.
Thank you for coming. It was great. Take them down. Let them have it. Guys, get out. Great day, folks.
We don't want to fight anymore, but if we have to fight again, it'll be to take these steps.
As we stand against the war, we also stand behind those who resisted.
More and more U.S. service members are actively refusing to participate in the illegal, immoral invasion and occupation of Iraq.
No more. We have a different path to take, and it doesn't matter what they do to us. It doesn't matter if they take away our honorable discharge, if they put us in prison.
Call it peace or call it treason, call it love or call it reason, but I ain't marching anymore. No, I ain't marching anymore.
Iraq Vets Against the War is a group of veterans that have served since 9/11 in the War on Terror, and we stand for three things: immediate withdrawal of all U.S. occupying forces from Iraq, reparations for the Iraqi people, and full benefits for all veterans. And the reason I have the flag upside down on my shoulder is because it's a symbol of distress, because I am very distressed. My friends are being stop-lossed and sent back to Iraq without their consent. The myth of the volunteer army is very distressing to me because it's not a volunteer army. We've been enslaving soldiers for 6 years now under the pretext of a national emergency, which is non-existent. Blackwater, Aegis, Titan, they're all mercenaries, and I have nothing good to say about those assholes. They're scamming the government. They make 15 times more than a normal soldier does, and they have no honor. And I would like nothing more than to see the collapse of those organizations. Only 1/5 of the incidents that go on are reported, so and that's on a good day. So these guys, they are free from the law. I used to listen to them in the DFAC on Camp Taji, going on and on about, oh, we wasted this guy, and oh, did you report it? No, why? Why would we do that? I mean, they're the scum of the earth. I think the main thing for Iraq vets is to act, because we've been enslaved for so long. We've been forced to do this. Years of our lives have been given away to a war that's immoral and illegal, and we need to find a way to make that better in ourselves.
While you were in Iraq, did you see any resistance to the war among the troops?
Oh, absolutely. I had to tell you a story.
Okay, when I was in Iraq.
When I was in Iraq, I had a friend. He told me that on Camp Cuervo in 2004, that it was too dangerous to go out during the Shiite militia uprisings. And he said that the company level commanders and the first sergeants, the captains and the first sergeants, started telling their guys it was okay not to go outside the wire, not to do missions. Well, the brigade commander found out about it and instituted this policy of, well, I'm going to check the mileage on the Humvees to see if they actually went out this week. And he went around with the clipboard every Monday, every Humvee in his brigade, he checked the mileage. And of course, the first unit that got caught got yelled at, somebody got in trouble, and what was the response? These first sergeants and company commanders started organizing details to drive around the base in circles. And if that's not an act of GI resistance, I don't know what is. When I was in Bellingham, after I got out of the Army, I had a nightmare, and I woke up, and I started thinking about some things. And these dreams kind of led me to a therapeutic type action. For me, it was to get up on a tower in downtown Bellingham, Washington, in front of the Federal Building, which is a symbol of all the power structure of this country that leads us into war, without thinking of the real effects of it. And I decided to protest the stop-loss policy because it's the most immoral of all of the policies in our country right now. You're sending the guys back who have already been there 2-3 times, whose contracts are up. You're breaking their contracts. It's actually illegal, come to find out when I start researching it. It's illegal. It has not been sanctioned by the federal court system. So I started protesting it and started realizing that it was a really powerful issue, because the establishment can't say, you can't justify it, except for the fact that they don't want to have a draft, because there's too many people that are opposed to an illegal, immoral war. So it's kind of the last little thing that's holding the army together. And the army is at the breaking point right now. As far 1 and 2 of my friends going back to Iraq for OIF 0709 is stop lost. More than half of my company is stop lost. So I protested that in Bellingham for 8 days and 7 nights on a scaffold that I made into a guard tower. And then I did it again in DC, and I founded the National Stop the Stop Loss campaign.
The spiritual revolution will be manifest and proven. We will shower the nation with waves of ecstasy and purification. Fear will be washed away. Ignorance exposed to sunlight. Profits and empire will lie drying on deserted beaches. The summer of love is about resistance. If you really love this planet, you will do more. You will do more than you're doing right now to protect this planet and to resist greed and to stop the militarization of the world by the U.S. Pentagon. Summer of love is about protecting what you love. Remember, it's never too late to have another summer of love. So if you don't like the news, go out and make some of your own.
So show us what you got. Immigrant rights are human rights, and human rights are high.
When we first took the camp on Wednesday, the Border Patrol moved in right when we showed up at the site and blocked access to the other camp on the Mexican side. And we're also threatening the people on the Mexican side with arrest and deportation. One of our main goals would be unifying the two camps physically. We brought that proposal to Mexicali, and Mexicali also consensed that their goal was to unify the two camps. Last night, the Border Patrol pretty much let us move our tents up another 10 feet. When we tried to get it really close to them, they said they needed a path for their car, but they did let us get our tents up significantly closer, and we were able to remove the physical barrier separating us and the Border Patrol.
Pick a song, damn it.
People can hang out at the gate, people can pass over the gate as long as it's in an orderly manner. Like, they need to be able to, like, you know, see the pot of food going over, and stuff can come back over if there's a guarantor.
We have now won a free area of access on both sides of the vehicle barrier, where people are now filling up that space, camping in that space. It's now filled with people talking to each other on both sides, hugging. So we have now created one camp, which was the initial goal over this year of organizing. It was the goal to have one no borders camp, and since we took the space, that has been our goal, is to create one camp. And so finally this morning we achieved our goal.
Understood.
Get back! Hey! Fuck out! Yeah! Keep talking! Get back! Get back!
Shit, fuck you! You beat someone for bumping into you. And then you shot at a bunch of people after. Proud of it.
In a wheelchair. Just doing your jobs, right? I remember hearing that excuse.
1942.
We're fucking moving!
Stay here. Get down! Get down!
Okay.
Get down! Get down! Get down! Everybody get down! Get down!
There have been no orders to disperse.
There have been no orders to disperse. Yeah. You call on us to leave, we will leave now.
Down! You better sit down! Right now! Sit down!
We being detained! Sit down! Sit down! Sit down! Put your hands on your head. Everybody calm down.
So why is it all these young people today misbehave?